This is Ian,
What's going on, guys? It's Andrew.
and welcome to another episode of Media Talk with Miller and Smith. Tonight we have a slew of topics to get through, but first things first, what did you all think of the Super Bowl? Smith, what did you
It was very, at the beginning, I thought, you know, the Eagles scored twice. So I thought, okay, they're going to score and this whole thing's going to be done with. Thought it was going to be a blowout, but it was on the edge of your seat from beginning to end, I guess.
Yeah,
After they scored the two touchdowns, then the Chiefs scored again. I'm like, okay, all right, they have a shot here now since they tied it, and now after that tie, it was the edge of your seat from there on. So it was a really great Super Bowl to watch from the two best teams. So that was it was pretty fun and interesting to watch.
yeah. They both played the best. The Chiefs definitely made a huge comeback. And you start to feel they were going their way, and then the Eagles, yeah, to the credit, they did try to take that glory away from the Chiefs, but once again, the Chiefs prevailed.
Yes, they did. They did. Um, from the looks of it, a little bit there, you thought when Mahomes went down that he was going to be done the rest of the game, with his ankle and everything. I'm like,
Yeah,
hey, this can't be good now for the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is gone and they're going to be done. They're going to be done for the Super Bowl. But Mahomes, I'll tell you, he's just a great athlete and just like a beast on the field. And whatever they gave him, that they must have gave him like a shot or something for his legs, his ankle. So I'm glad he was able to come back and finish it during the game because
yeah.
I knew that he wanted to finish it. So
Yeah, you could tell, just by him running, you could tell he was still in a little pain. Uh,
mhm.
Still, my hat's off to him because, he played great in the second half. And, it really did help because, yeah, the team needed him, but they could have done okay without him. But
Yeah, absolutely.
God, so many great runs.
I know. I mean, it was just. I mean, I'll say it again. I mean, it was just a really great game. One of the best Super Bowls I've seen.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so we covered that.
about well, I just want to ask you this question, just and for everyone out there, if they want to comment, they can. Just the one question: what was your favorite commercial of the Super Bowl? I mean, I have to get into it. So I mean, it's a
All right,
Super Bowl commercials.
all right, all
So
right.
I have to ask this question.
As many of you know, there were a lot of celebrities in these commercials this year,
Yes, there was.
a lot more than last year. I would have to say my favorite was with Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad.
Of course, of course. I know how much you like Breaking Bad. So
I thought it was nice to see, the old characters again.
mhm.
Um, Obviously, Brad Cranston was wearing a bold cap, but still, it looked pretty good. And I was like, oh, this person has so many memories.
For me, let's see. There was a lot of great commercials. Um, I always like the talking baby ones. Those are pretty funny.
Mm.
Um, I don't know. The Miles Teller one was actually pretty funny too. I don't know if you saw that one with I think
Yeah,
that was his wife.
yeah, it was his wife.
That was pretty funny. But if I had to choose one, it would have to be the John Travolta commercial. Going back to Danny's doing the Danny Zuko as Grease in Greece.
That was weird for me.
It was weird, but I thought it was pretty funny too.
And he could still sing, so I guess
Yeah,
that
he could
works.
still sing. He could still sing. I mean, um, but singing, obviously that iconic song from the movie, but
Obviously, they changed it up a bit.
obviously, yeah. But him getting back into character for that, just that was one of the you know best movies that I've seen. Well, I guess one of the best musical movies, I guess.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's up there for me in Greece. So that's pretty much my favorite commercial. So that was fun and interesting to watch.
yeah. And we were also graced with a couple of trailers, movie trailers.
Yes, we were absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm sure you want to bring up that one.
yeah. I want to actually kind of save that one for the middle here, but let's go with the. Well, it's still exciting, but the lesser two. Let's start with Indiana Jones and the Destiny. We get a
Yeah.
little bit more of what's going on in the story in this. I would say it's about a minute and 30-second teaser,
Right.
but it just makes you hungry for more of this movie, more of Indiana Jones. Even though
Mhm.
this is his last adventure, you're like, you want to see him go out with a bang. So I was very excited to see that there's a little bit more humor in here than there was in the first trailer that we saw.
Mhm.
It was very welcome, and you see Indy and his goddaughter in a very classic Indy trope, which is
Yeah.
trying to survive the odds.
Mhm.
So that's exciting. So I was like, June, I couldn't come anytime sooner, but this is for one of the reasons. I'll get to the other ones right now. Then we saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We actually did get to see the full trailer because they did say it was you could access it on YouTube or online.
Mhm.
We get more of the story, what's going to happen in this third installment, and it really does look like not a lot of our favorite crew of bandits, as you will, is going to make it out. In fact, it looks like Rocket's very much at the heart of this particular story
Mhm.
because we get to see more of his past, especially the person who sort of created him, gave him his robotics in his body.
Right.
You get to see his pain, and you get a little hint at what his love life is going to be like, because apparently there is a creature from his past, that
Mhm.
many fans will know this. So that's exciting for that. And also, you get to see Peter, and of course, Gamora, this version of Gamora,
Yeah.
sort
Yeah.
of
The one.
clash.
Yeah, the one that we saw in Endgame, the one in the past. So.
Yeah, I get a sense that, she's gonna definitely resist this, but I think that towards the end of the film, maybe, just maybe. But again, it's too soon to tell. But you could go and you can see there's a scene where Peter's screaming, because I
Mhm.
think somebody's on the table. That could be very much that could be Rocket or that could be Gamora. So either way, we're gonna lose some people here, and I don't think we're emotionally ready for it, if we're being honest, because we pretty much have enjoyed this crew since their first appearance in the
Mhm.
MCU, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be a hell of a hard goodbye.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with these movies, it was fun to see those guys together in these movies, and also in the first movie you got to see how they were able to get together as partners, or teammates I should say, as a
Yeah.
team, and build on their relationship in all these three movies. So if we are in fact getting a death in this movie, um it will be heartbreaking. It will be sad. I mean, but I don't know. I mean, I hope none of them die. I mean, I hope we get a happy ending. Um, but you know, from these movies, you can see not a lot of them get happy endings. I mean,
No, a lot of them make sacrifices so that others can live and have their happy endings. Again,
yeah.
it goes back to obviously poor Tony Stark. Again,
Hmm.
making a
And then
huge sacrifice so everyone can live.
yeah, and then you saw Natasha sacrifice herself
Yeah,
for the Soul Stone, for Clint to get the Soul Stone there. And then you see, and then you see Cap. I mean, he didn't really die, obviously, in Endgame, but he pretty much retired, as you could say. He just gave it all up after everything was done and passed it on. I
Yeah,
mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess you can say it's an end of an era for these characters. I mean, but I hope it doesn't go out the way we think it will. So,
yeah.
I mean, like I said, hopefully all of them live, but if one doesn't, then it's gonna be heartbreaking. So we'll see what happens.
A lot of times it's just, you know, it's time.
Yeah.
It's time to say
uh,
goodbye. And even though that's hard, but it's time.
Yeah. I mean, you see all these characters who've been in the Marvel movies from the beginning, and when it's time to come to it, when it's time for them to come to an end, you don't really want it to end. You want it to keep going and going and going, but there's only a certain amount of time and certain, you know, you have to come. It's harder nowadays to come up with stories for these characters. I mean, I know you have the comics and everything like that, but these actors get older and older, and sometimes they can't do it anymore. So, but you just want these characters to still be in these movies, and to hear that they're moving on and this could be the last movie. You know, yeah, it's sad to hear, but sometimes that is what it is.
Yeah. Well, either way, it also comes out in June, and we're gonna look forward to that as well.
I thought it wasn't it May.
You know, that I don't remember. I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure it was May, but
Eh, okay, on to our next trailer, and this is probably the biggest one because it's been talked about, for the last week.
yep.
It's Warner Brothers and DC Comics, The Flash.
The biggest one there was.
Yes, we get to see more of what's going to happen in this movie, and of course, everyone was right. It is very much a Flashpoint story,
Hmm.
but the biggest, news of this trailer is here's the biggest takeaways. We get to see Barry pretty much screw up the timeline, and he was contemplating it from the very beginning of the trailer,
Hmm.
and him trying to fix it because he wants to make sure that this universe, his mother stays alive. And he
Right.
encounters another Barry Allen from that particular universe, but he also encounters an older Batman, much older than Ben Affleck's Batman, who's also in this movie.
Hmm.
But the older Batman is Michael Keaton.
Yeah. I don't know. It's what we've said in past videos and past episodes. We're very excited to see what his role will be in this movie, and to see him in this trailer and to actually see him with the cowl on. It got me very excited when I first saw it.
And
So,
instant chills. It was like 30 plus years had never happened.
hmm.
And of course, seeing Ben back in the cowl as well as his Batman, that was so cool and iconic because they changed up the costume a little bit. It's actually a darker blue cowl and
Yeah.
cape with the gray. And fans have been wanting that for years. And this Ben's Batman actually cautions warns Barry not to do this to
Yeah.
change the past because serious ramifications.
Hmm.
But Barry does so, and it has drastic consequences because we have General Zod back, and we have no many humans in this reality except for Supergirl.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure. It's not. We haven't heard anything that this is happening or anything. I guess I'm pretty sure that General Zod will be the main villain of this movie. But again, I'm not sure because
Yeah,
there's nothing about a reverse flash in there or anything. So I'm pretty sure General Zod will be the main villain in this movie. Don't know how, but you know,
Yeah. So
hearing
this
that he's dead and came back to life. So
yeah. So this is what happens when you mess with time.
when you mess,
There
yeah,
if you had just watched Back to the Future, you could have prevented this whole thing. But you didn't. Again, he has understandable reasons for trying to, change the past so that he could see his mom again. Understandable. But still, he should have thought of the consequences of his actions.
yeah, but he also comes in contact with his other self, which again,
Paradox.
exactly in Back to the Future, like you said, if you come in contact with your other self, it creates a whole thing. So
Uh,
messes everything up.
and this was completely ignored in Avengers Endgame, if you remember famously.
Hmm.
So I'm guessing DC's pretty much doing the same thing with the Flash.
Yeah, but oh, true. Yeah, that's true. When Cap fought himself,
Yeah, so I guess we're just throwing that at the space time continuum out the door. So, all right.
I guess they're not worried about that anymore. So
Well, Barry in the television series did face himself
that's true. He was
more
when
than
he was
once,
sabotaged.
and I guess the universe didn't just get destroyed. So,
Yeah, that's true. When he faced Savitar, when he was Savitar, and then when he came back and talked to his future self. So
yeah, but he also came back into the past as well. You remember in season two where he was trying to, learn how to get faster, from
that's true.
on.
Yes. Yeah, I remember that too. Hmm.
So, yeah. So again, I guess that's what they were going with, but still, I'm pretty excited. It comes out on June 16th. You get to see an actual Flash movie, which is pretty freaking cool.
Which everyone's been wanting for years.
Yeah,
So
but you get two Batman and you get Supergirl. What more could you want?
two of my top superheroes in one movie. Well,
Yeah,
not well, Superman it was, but like Supergirl is up there too. So
yeah. So what more can you want?
yeah.
Of course,
Um
you get Michael Keaton saying the iconic line and moving in the bat suit, which, by the way, looks freaking cool.
he still has that voice. You know, he can still do it.
Yeah,
So
I'm Batman.
maybe a Batman Beyond movie might be in order down the road. I'm not saying it will happen, but just maybe.
I hope so. I hope so.
Of course, that would be considered an Elseworlds storyline.
Yeah. I mean, I've wanted to I mean, obviously I wanted Christian Bale to be in this movie, but you know, I guess two Batman was enough. So you have the current Batman in Barry's timeline, Ben Affleck, and then you have the past one, or the future. I think it's the past, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's the past Batman, Michael Keaton. So that's good enough for me.
yeah. So
So
it comes out June 16th, and we're going to see it.
absolutely, absolutely, can't wait.
Yeah. In other news, we were actually going to talk about a TV show that's actually coming to its end, and that is the Blacklist, which ends at was it the 10th season now?
Yeah, it currently ends for season 10. Yeah, it's currently on season 10, which is going to be released, I think, either next week or in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
So that will be the final season of that.
yeah. Initial thoughts. Did you think it should have ended much sooner than now?
I do. Um, I think, in my opinion, and please, for if any of you watch Blacklist out there, um, you know, you may agree with me, you may not, depending on the opinions you guys have. But I think that it should have ended right after um they killed Liz. Because after that, you know, just didn't make sense for the show to keep going anymore. Because throughout the whole series, you had the mystery of who Liz's father actually was. Was it Raymond Reddington? Was it someone else? I mean, you never really got that closure. And you never really got the specific answer of who her father really was. So I think they should have just ended it there with, who her father really was in that season, and then just end it right there. So,
Yeah,
I mean, to go on for 2 more seasons, I really don't see it. I really didn't see it, I should say. But I don't know. I mean, hopefully they get a better season, and I guess a way to close it out, I should say. So I don't know. I mean, we never really had that that answer of who her father really was.
yeah, I agree with you on that. Yeah, season 8 would have been a good way to just to go out, at least
Mhm.
when you're on top. These past 2 seasons, season 9, of course, going to season 10, they
Right.
weren't the best. But season 9 definitely wasn't the best.
Season 9 was okay. I mean, there were a few episodes which I thought were pretty good, but it wasn't as good as past seasons. So that's why I thought it should have ended. But
Yeah. That's what happens, folks, when you stay that long after the party's over.
mhm,
Or
exactly.
the welcome. And unfortunately, Blacklist has overstayed its welcome and it's ending at the end of this season.
Hmm.
We don't know how it's going to end. Hopefully, it'll just be, very climactic and say, you know what, we're done.
Yeah. I mean, look, I one of the reasons I watched the show was obviously for James Spader because he's a great actor. Seen him in a lot of stuff. In Avengers, Age of Ultron.
Hey, freaking Ultron, for God's sakes.
Him playing Ultron, and with his voice, it was pretty awesome and pretty freaky at the same time. But he just has that voice. But anyway, I mostly watched because he's a great actor and he played Raymond Reddington really, really well. And for people who don't know this, um, for any fans who didn't know this or not, before James Spader was actually casted in the role, Kiefer Sutherland was actually offered the role before him, and then he turned it down.
Yeah.
So,
I think we're getting, yeah, I think he was working on Designated Survivor at the time, wasn't he? Or
yeah,
Game
I think
Changer?
so. Or he was starting Designated Survivor, something like that.
Yeah.
Um, so you just have to wonder, would if Kiefer Sutherland had gotten this role, would it have gone further? Like, would it have gotten the same amount of seasons as it did now, or would it have gone shorter? I mean, I don't know. I just love them both as an actor.
Yeah.
So, you just never know. But I'm glad James Spader was in this role. And he just did a fantastic job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
Either way, I'm gonna miss Red, and just tuning in each week.
yeah,
But like we said, it's time.
yeah. I mean, that's you know, sometimes the show runs its course, like you said earlier. So
Yeah.
I think it's time to end. So Blacklist season 10 comes out, premieres February 26th on NBC.
Yeah.
So
So look forward to that. Speaking of shows that are ending, this show is currently on its final season. Star Trek Picard, which is actually on its third and final season.
mhm.
This is the continuing adventures of one of Star Trek's best captains, Jean-Luc Picard, who is the captain of the Enterprise D and E. And we're looking at him at his retired years when he actually was a retired admiral.
Mhm.
Now, the episode of season 3 is premiered just last night. If you haven't watched it yet, please stop watching this video and go watch it because there's going to be a few spoilers.
Well, I mean, you can tell me. I mean, I haven't watched it yet, but I'm sure it's you can tell me I'm good.
All right, all right. So in this season, Picard actually gets a message from an old friend, a person he hasn't spoke to in almost 20 years, over 20 years, and that's Beverly Crusher, the former uh, MD on Enterprise D and E. She asks for his help and says, "Trust no one and no Starfleet." So he decides to actually go to his former, second command, Will Riker, who's a retired captain, to go out and look for Beverly Crusher to find out what the hell's happened to her for the past 20 years. Where's she been? And it was just very sad to hear that the character, had cut everybody off.
Mm-hmm.
None of the crew members had actually heard from Crusher shortly after the events of Star Trek Nemesis. So people are wondering what happened to her. Why is she suddenly afraid? What's she doing out in deep space? We don't know, but we get a hint of what's happened and what's going to happen through the rest of the season. So far, we know there's a bigger threat than besides wherever Crusher is running from. Because apparently, is a big threat against Starfleet itself. It's already destroyed one of their facilities. So you have to think bigger things to come, maybe a possible war. We just don't know. The episode has done a very good job, playing on, familiar themes, but also a little fan service seeing the iconic comm badges from the Next Generation series.
Mm-hmm.
It's a guilty pleasure. What can you do? But it's exciting. The show has actually gone back on track, which I think it left that in season 2. So I'm glad it's actually gone, I'm back on track, ironically, for the final season. But it does promise an exciting finale. And it's an exciting conclusion to this particular crew, and I'm very excited.
So how do you think this season compares to the other two seasons? Like like if you saw it, like, do you think it's better than the other two, or like was the first season better than this one, or?
Well, I'm only judging. It's hard to judge this particular season with the other two because the season's just started.
Mm-hmm.
It does have a lot of promise,
Mm-hmm.
but then so did season 2. And there's a couple of episodes of season 2 I really liked, but there's like the middle there I could have done without.
Right.
But again, I enjoyed it. I have to say, so far, season 1 I really liked.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're dealing with Picard at this stage in his life where he's left Starfleet under, bad terms, shall we say.
Right.
And he's just at this point in his life looking for an adventure. And suddenly somebody offers him one, and he just goes out there, and it's all connected to another crew member that died during Star Trek Nemesis. And he sees visions of him during that first season. And that's Commander Data, the Starfleet android. So, yeah, season 1 was about really just confronting the past somewhat and just acceptance, There's some
Right.
things you can't change.
Right.
Then in season 2, they completely switched things where you're reflecting your past again.
Mm-hmm.
You suddenly realize, I don't want this to, I don't want to end up alone. That's where season two ends.
Right.
So where season 3 goes, I don't know, but it's just exciting. I'm glad we're getting back to familiar territory with the Next Generation crew. Maybe it's just exciting, and hopefully this will be the conclusion that this crew actually deserved, because we didn't get closure from Nemesis.
Okay, so how do you feel about it ending? So I know you got Picard back and after not seeing him for so many years, and then him coming back doing a TV show, and it's only been like 3 seasons. So how are you feeling that it's ending after 3 seasons?
I think it's a good place,
Hmm.
to stop because you don't want. It's like you know after you have this successful series,
Hmm.
it's a well course meal, and then you have these 3 seasons. That's your dessert. After
Right,
that, full. You don't want more.
right.
So I think this is a good place to stop it and the journey because this is a journey.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair enough. That makes sense.
Yeah, and it goes back to Blacklist. You don't want to overstay your welcome.
Right. No, of course. I mean, when you come back after not doing the role for so many years, um, I mean, you want the show to continue, but like, I mean, it's just there's only so much you can do, um, and you don't know how long it's gonna last. So I guess you just gotta take it as it comes. I guess as they say.
Yeah,
So even if you see him for 3 seasons, so that's pretty cool.
yeah. The fact that he even wanted to come back was just exciting. So, but like I said, good place to stop.
I mean, I saw that he wanted to. He had interest in, I guess. I don't. Well, correct me if I'm wrong or not. He had interest in playing the role again.
Yeah, there was some talk of that. It could happen, but if it does, great. If not, then I'm glad we got these 3 seasons.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So tune into Picard season 3, I guess, which is premiering now, I guess, right? It
Yeah,
premiered.
yeah, it did.
All right. So tune into Picard season 3 on Paramount Plus.
You will regret it. Okay. One last thing. Another show comes back this Sunday, and that is Magnum PI.
Oh
And,
yes. Yes, it
and
does.
yes, the show was originally canceled on CBS. I think it was last year.
Yes. At the end of
Season
last season was in like May or June.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's been renewed for 2 more seasons, season 5 and season 6. So I'm really excited about that. I'm glad that the cast is all coming back. So that's pretty cool. Um, yeah, it premieres actually next Sunday.
yeah,
So that's pretty fun. That's pretty cool. So I'm excited to see that.
yes, and some things have changed obviously between Magnum and Higgins.
They
Yeah,
did. Yes,
so
they did.
so
Uh,
we'll explore that this season. I think it's a good idea to explore.
I do too. I mean, just the biggest question is, will they or won't they stay together?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's always the problem with some of these these romance stories, the subplots, because you don't know if the lead characters are going to stay together. Obviously,
yeah.
the genuine fan base out there that wants them to stay together, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, if you compare between the two shows, I mean, they made Higgins in this series a woman,
Yeah,
and then Higgins with Tom Selleck, that was a man. So
yeah,
kind of changed it up a bit. Um, but
but
it's yeah.
yeah, but what's the same? The same with both of those shows is there is a mutual respect between the characters.
Hmm.
So I'm glad they did that in this reboot
Hmm.
and changed up the characters obviously a bit, which because it needed to be done. It was appropriate,
Right.
inevitable. But I like the changes, and I hate the fact that they destroyed the Ferrari in the first episode of season one. That iconic Ferrari is just like, oh
Uh,
come on, you gotta stab me in the heart, come on.
I
But
feel like I feel like though that's what they do in like these remakes. They kind of get rid of the old things
yeah,
and kind of put it in and then replace the stuff with new things in the reboot.
yeah, they
So
do, they do it all the time. They do it all the time. But I forgave them because kind of like the new Ferrari. You know,
Mhm.
it's cool, and I love the cast, the chemistry between them. I think Jay plays a terrific Thomas Magnum. Not quite Tom Selleck the level, but still pretty damn good.
Yeah. No, I love Jay Hernandez playing uh Magnum. Um Pedrita Weeks, she's playing Higgins. So the whole cast is pretty cool. So
Yeah,
I can't wait for the season. And see where it goes from here. So
yeah.
that's fun.
So welcome back, guys, and we're excited.
I'm sure they're excited to be back as well. So tune into Magnum PI. It will be on Sunday at 9, I think, either 9 or 10. One of those. I gotta look that up, but I'm pretty sure it's either 9 or 10.
I'm taping it because I'm going to a movie that night.
Oh yes, yes, we are seeing Ant-Man Sunday night. So we will give our reactions to that when the movie is over.
Yeah,
Uh, so right, that's what we're gonna do. We'll probably
yeah,
do that. Okay. So look out for that. We'll record our reactions. Maybe we'll do a little beforehand. We'll see. But yeah. So just tune into that, and should be fun. Should be a
absolutely.
great movie.
Well, I think that's going to be it for us tonight.
Yeah.
Join us next week, of course, as always. And always like and subscribe.
Yeah, and with every episode when we end, please guys, if there's any topics, you liked, the Super Bowl commercials, the Super Bowl in general, Blacklist, the Flash trailers, all the trailers that premiered, Magnum, anything that you like, just comment. Please put in the comments. We want to hear from you guys as well, not just listening to us go back and forth and banter.
Yeah.
So
All right.
yes,
Well,
put in the comments, so and we'll go over it.
yeah. Well, I'm Ian Miller,
I'm Andrew Smith.
and this has been Me at Talk with Mo and Smith. Have a good night, folks.
Hi guys.
If you'd like to follow us on YouTube, just hit that like button and subscribe.